There's a strange kind of exhaustion that comes from patience. Not the kind that burns or screams, but the kind that settles behind the ribs. I've been growing. I know I have. I face myself in ways I used to avoid. Learned to let go of what was weighing me down. Healed things I didn't even know were broken. And yet, when I look around, life still looks the same. It's confusing, almost cruel, to do so much inner work and feel like the world hasn't noticed. The same routines, the same faces, the same conversations. Sometimes I even wonder if all this growth has made me invisible. I used to think transformation would feel like a rival. Like crossing a finish line where everything finally falls into place. But it doesn't. It feels like standing on the edge of something vast, with nothing moving but me. I've become quieter inside, more aware, more patient. But life outside hasn't caught up. There are moments where I doubt myself. Maybe I misread the signs, maybe I've slowed down too much. Maybe the universe forgot I was next in line. That's when the weariness creeps in. Not from the waiting itself, but from not knowing how long the waiting will last. People talk about alignment like it's a clean equation. Change within and the outer world adjusts. But they never mention the delay. That gap between who you've become and what still is. It's that gap that hurts the most. It's like living with one foot in the life you've outgrown and the other in the one that hasn't yet formed. Sometimes I catch myself staring at the ceiling at night. Not sad exactly, but heavy. Wondering if I'm doing something wrong or if I'm simply too early for what's meant for me. It's strange how growth can feel like stillness. How becoming more conscious can make the world look frozen. Maybe this is what no one tells you about transformation. This is not just about waking up. It's about learning to live in the stretch between what you know you are and what life still thinks you're not. When I look closely, I realize the heaviness I've been feeling isn't about failure. It's about the gap between who I used to be and who I'm becoming. My old patterns are gone, but the new ones haven't fully taken shape yet. It's like I'm standing in the doorway between two lives, and neither one feels like home. I keep expecting life to move as quickly as my realizations, but it doesn't. The outer world has its own rhythm. Slower, heavier, bound by time and structure. My awareness expands instantly, but my circumstances need time to rearrange around it. Maybe that's what this waiting really is. The space between the insight and its reflection. Growth isn't a switch, it's a delay. You shift on the inside, and the world needs time to notice. It's like turning a ship. You feel the motion before you see the direction change. But because nothing looks different yet, the mind panics. It assumes nothing's working, when in truth, everything is quietly realigning beneath the surface. Sometimes I catch myself trying to rush the outer world into catching up. I push, plan, overthink, try to make things happen faster. But that just creates resistance. Like shouting at a seed to sprout. There's a timing to transformation that the mind can't control. The more I see this, the more it makes sense why the waiting feels so lonely. I'm no longer who I was, but no one around me can see the person I've become yet. They still respond to the old version, and I still respond to their expectations. That's the ache. Being awake inside a life built for someone I've already outgrown. It's not that life is ignoring me, it's mirroring who I used to be, not who I've become. And until I stop expecting instant reflection, I'll keep mistaking alignment for absence. Maybe patience isn't about waiting after all. Maybe it's about allowing the delay between the becoming and the evidence. It took me a while to understand that life doesn't mirror awareness instantly. It mirrors energy, and energy takes time to stabilize. When I grow inside, my vibration changes first, but the structures around me are still built for the frequency I've left behind. That's why they feel tight now, like wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. The universe isn't punishing me with slowness. It's protecting the order of things. If everything around me shifted the moment I did, nothing would have depth. There would be no process, no anchoring, no meaning to becoming. What's really happening is recalibration. My reality is catching up to the new rhythm I've created. Every time I act from awareness instead of fear, I'm teaching life who I am now. It doesn't argue, it adjusts. But that adjustment happens quietly, behind the scenes, while I'm busy doubting myself. The delay I've been resenting is actually proof of movement. It's the time it takes for the outer layers of reality to respond to the inner ones, like light from a star. By the time it reaches your eyes, the star has already changed. You're just seeing the echo. The truth is, I'm not waiting for life to begin. Life is waiting for me to stop rushing the reflection. It's waiting for the new energy to settle, for my choices to align with the person I keep saying I've become. I used to think alignment meant control. That if I just got my mindset right, everything would fall into place. But it's not about control. It's about coherence. The inside and outside have to hum at the same frequency before anything moves. And maybe that's what faith really is. Not blind hope, but trust in timing. The kind of trust that lets me stop performing progress and start living truth. I can't rush a reality I haven't stabilized internally. I can't receive what I'm not yet ready to hold. This realization changed everything for me. The silence wasn't absence, it was alignment forming. The stillness wasn't stagnation, it was structure rearranging. What I mistook for delay was simply the universe making sure the new version of me had a place to land. When I started reading the kind of books that reach beneath the surface, I realized they all whisper the same truth in different languages. That life changes from the inside out, and the outside simply needs time to listen. Eckhart Tolle wrote in A New Earth that life will give you whatever experience is most helpful for the evolution of your consciousness. For a long time, I thought that meant the universe sends challenges to grow me. But now I see it also sends stillness. Stillness is just as evolutionary as movement. It stretches patience, deepens presence, teaches trust. Michael Singer in The Untethered Soul said, "You're not falling behind in life. You're falling behind in letting go." I didn't understand that line until recently. The reason life seems motionless after deep growth is because the old energy hasn't been released completely. We're still holding fragments of what we've outgrown. The universe doesn't move us forward until our hands are free. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "Time is a river, a violent current of events, glimpsed once and carried away." That image stayed with me. It reminded me that control is an illusion. The river flows on its own. The wiser choice is to stop gripping the banks and start floating with the direction that already knows where it's going. And David Hawkins, in Letting Go, spoke about surrender, not as passivity, but alignment. He said, "Surrender is the inner transition from resistance to acceptance. That's what allows life to accelerate again. The moment resistance dissolves, energy flows." Each of these teachers across time and perspective is pointing to the same thing. The outer world slows down when the inner world is adjusting. And the stillness we resent is actually the calibration of destiny. When I hold that truth, the waiting feels different. It's no longer punishment or delay. It's evidence that life is preparing to match what I've become. So, how do I live in this space between what's shifting inside me and what hasn't yet changed outside? Because awareness alone isn't enough. It needs a way to breathe in daily life. The first thing I've learned is to stop performing progress. It's easy to think growth must be productive. New job, new habits, new routines. But the deeper kind of growth isn't performative. It's quiet integration. So instead of asking, what should I be doing right now? I try asking, what truth am I practicing right now? That one question brings me back into alignment. The second is to keep small rituals of presence. 5 minutes with no screen. A short walk without a goal. Writing one honest line in a notebook. These are not meaningless pauses. They are how the inner world teaches the outer world what matters. Stillness translates wisdom into action. I've also started to trust repetition. When life feels stagnant, the instinct is to escape it. But sometimes repeating the same action with new awareness transforms the experience. Cooking dinner, answering messages, showing up for work. These can all become mirrors of how I am becoming if I meet them differently. And maybe, most important of all, I've learned to talk to the part of me that's impatient. Not to silence it, but to remind it that transformation is cellular. It takes time for the body, mind, and reality to synchronize. So when that voice says, we should be further by now, I remind it, we already are. The reflection just hasn't arrived yet. Living this way doesn't mean giving up ambition. It means reordering trust. Choosing to believe that the light that matches who I am becoming cannot miss me. That every day spent in awareness is a step forward, even if nothing visible has changed. This is what it means to live the becoming, instead of chasing the arrival. Maybe this is what becoming really means. Not racing toward the future, not chasing signs, not measuring how far you've come, but learning to live kindly inside your own unfolding. I used to think patience was just waiting well. Now I see it's deeper than that. It's faith expressed as stillness. A soft agreement with life that says, I trust where you're taking me, even when I can't see it yet. So if your inner world feels light years ahead of your outer world, don't fight the gap. Let it breathe. Let it stretch. The reflection always takes a little longer than the becoming. One day, quietly, without effort, the life around you will begin to match the one within you. And when it does, you'll realize you were never waiting for life to start. You were waiting to feel ready to live it. You are not late. You are right on time and right on path.